Well, welcome back, Carl Kuntz, for another year of Track is Our Field podcast. We're in a new setting. We want to thank Fountain Lake School District, Darren Landry and his crew. This is a Fountain Lake broadcasting class that is allowing us to be here, and we're excited about our new setup, and hopefully we'll be able to do this more often, and we'll be able to go live and be able to talk to people in Bentonville or Crossett or Magnolia, Genoa Central, whatever, Carl. But, man, we love this, and we're excited about being here. As we get started, though, let's talk about our sponsors real quick. Tommy Howard, Edward Jones Financial Advisor in Little Rock at 501-224-7699. The Arkansas Track Coaches Association are great to help us out. You can find them at artrackcoaches.com. And, Carl?
You got Steve Qualls at Design Lab. The website is designlablra.com.
We want to thank those sponsors, and again, we want to thank Fountain Lake School District for allowing us to use their facilities and their broadcasting class. We've got about 5 or 6 young ladies in here working hard, and we want to thank them for that. Well, Carl, it's NCAA Indoor National Championship Week at Fayetteville, Arkansas at the university. Right now, the men's program's ranked number 1 going in.
Right.
I think they had the most entries. I think 17 is what they had coming in.
Just came off the SEC dominating performance, just beat everybody bad.
Yeah, I talked to Doug this week. I just congratulated him in that, and I said it'd be pretty nice not to have to worry about a mile relay team. You got it won, and you could just relax, and they still, I think.
But they won anyway after that DQ from A&M.
But, yeah, that's happening up there. If you get a chance, this Friday, that's going to be the kind of semifinals. There'll be a few final events like the DMR and I think the 5,000, but then Saturday is all-day finals. And if you get an opportunity to come to Fayetteville, you need to go up and watch that. It's pretty exciting. You got 5,000 people in there carrying on. A couple of weeks ago, they had the Tyson Invitational, and it was a silver-level meet that Noah Lyles, gold medalist in the Olympics, was there. And the place was packed, Carl. And when he came out, he had his WWE World Championship banner walking out.
Had to give it up.
And everybody was excited about that. And he got it going, and he ran, and it was his first indoor meet of the year. And after he won it, the crowd started calling the hogs. He didn't know how to react. He had never heard anything like that. You could just see his face like, what are these people doing? But he made the comment later in an interview that this was one of the top 5 places he's ever been with crowd support. And that. And that's awesome to hear.
Yeah. First he said top 10. No, wait, top 5. So
that
was exciting.
I'm gonna fix my mic here.
If you haven't been to the Tyson Center, a big track meet, it is loud. It is awesome performance. It's an awesome experience to see a big track meet there.
Well, and what's so cool at the end, we always think of our high school kids. They get excited about the mile relay and the hooping and hollering and running across the field and at the finish line. That happens at the collegiate level. Those schools get together in their groups, and all of a sudden you hear, it's great to be a Florida Gator. They're rocking it. And then you got the Arkansas calling the Hogs. And just each group, as they come out, whether they're in 28th place or they're in first place, they get excited about that 4x4, and it's rocking in that facility. Yeah. It's fun. So much on that end of it, Carl. Outdoor season has started for our high schools. Man, last week, could we have asked for better weather?
It's going to be hard to beat that at the state meet in May to get that kind of weather we had.
Well, it
was a good opening week.
80 degrees. The second on Thursday, there was hardly any wind where we were at running, where I was officiating.
Yeah, and I was at Benton on that day.
It was, I went over to check, make sure the computers were hooked to their wind gauges, and the wind gauges kept showing 0, and I looked up at the flags, and they were straight down.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, there's no wind involved.
It's unusual.
On that. Had some great performances. But this week, what do we got meet-wise this week going on?
This week, we got a whole bunch of meets. I'll run through them real quick. We've actually got a few meets today. The high school meet. I'm not even going to mention the junior high and middle school meets, okay? There's a bunch of those. But high school meets today at DeWitt and Van Buren. Tomorrow, we got Pinnacle Structures Leon White meet at Cabot. Also, a bunch of junior high meets that I mentioned. On the 12th, which is Thursday, Green Forest, Greenbrier, Clarksville, Caddo Hills, Greene County Tech, Gentry, the Lake Hamilton, Mena, Washita OBU, Ozark, Batesville, Wildcat Relays, and Little Rock, and Wynn Whipple Memorial in Arkadelphia. That's Thursday. And Friday, we got Van Buren and Springdale meets. And Saturday, you've already mentioned the NCAA meet, Friday and Saturday. And Ouachita Baptist University having a college meet on that day, too.
And that's, Carl, just talking about that, though, but there's Harding that had a meet 2 weeks ago, high school meet at Harding University
Yes.
for high school.
Yep.
This week, you've got Ouachita Baptist going to host a meet on Thursday. And,
And Lake Hamilton's got one Thursday, too. Yeah.
But our colleges are coming back. Not only are they starting the sport,
Yes.
back when we were there, AIC, we had all those schools. For those guys to be looking to put on meets, high school meets, not only just their own meet. I know SAU in April the 18th or something, they're having their college meet. But
Right.
Harding to put that on, Henderson's coming back, hopefully they'll put on maybe a high school meet as well eventually down
Yes,
the road as they
yes.
get going. It's exciting to see that build up as kind of our theme been the last 2 years. Track's not dead in Arkansas, and it's growing.
Yeah. Speaking of Henderson starting, I talked to the coach last week. They started the field event section because they've been working on the turf, so they're going inside and out, do all the inside stuff first, so the trucks won't be going over to the inside. So I think in April they'll start the outer perimeter of the track.
So
it'll
they
be a
are
9-lane
starting to work on it then.
Yeah. The due date is still dedicated in August.
That's awesome.
That's playing a 9-lane track where the old 10-lane track used to be.
So they're going to do D zones.
Yeah, the D zone. He told me the long jumps are going to be on the far D zone, and then the high jump and pole vault down on the near E zone near the field house. So I don't know that they're going to have the D zone completely covered with track material.
Right.
They will the high jump, but the far end will just be the runways.
Right, gotcha, yeah. But I'm again, SAU, Harding, OBU, Henderson, Arkansas Tech does cross country, and those kids do participate.
I think they might be. They're starting to delve into some more events too, other than just cross country. So I've hear talk of they're gonna. You may be kind of like, we got to keep up with everybody else. Now that Ouachita started back, Henderson's starting it back, SAU started back several years ago, UCA started back. So the pressure's on for these other old schools that used to have it to get started again.
Well, I was going to say, and man, it's fun. I mean, the GAC is going to be at Harding this year. I think the first week of May, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
It's the 29th, the 30th of April, and the 1st of May.
Right. So that's going to be at Harding down the road. Well, man, do you have any big results student-wise from our meets?
I do. We have the outdoor performances. Now, this is early, because there's a lot of top kids maybe not run their event yet, but I'm going to run down and give you the top performers for each group. For the girls in the 100-meter dash, Skylar Sterrett of Sheridan at 12:08. In the 200, Aubrey Stewart of Magnolia has run 25:78. In the 400, Presley Jones from Lake Hamilton has run 55:93. It's a big improvement for her. Helen Hesselgren of Fayetteville has run 2:16:08 in the 800. Flannery O'Daniel from she's from Bentonville, I believe. 5:05:80. And the 3200, Mia McFarland of Monmouth Charters run 11:27:20. Aubrey Stewart of Magnolia's run 47:59 in the 300 hurdles. There was no listing in the 100-meter hurdles for girls. El Dorado's got the top time in the 400 4x1 and the 4x2 in 49:27 and 147:97. Cabot's got the best 4x400 and 4:14:82. Warren has got the best 3200, 10:31:60. That's unusual for South Arkansas,
Yes.
but Warren, of course, they got one really good one. Jesse Welburn of Alma has jumped 5.4 in the high jump. Skylar Sterrett has jumped 18.1 in the long jump. Layla Taylor of West Memphis is 36.9 3/4 in the triple. Allie Quast of Lakeside's got a 12-foot pole vault. Ella Orr of Heber Springs has thrown 138.5 in the discus. And Addison Gurley of Arkansas High in Texarkana, 40 feet and a half inch. On the boys, the 100-meter dash, Noah Stack, pole vaulter, has got the best 100 in 10:72. 200, Caleb Brown, Little Rock Central, 22:08. 400 is Chris Harden of Marion, 48:48. Marion is concentrating on the 400 and the 800. Matthew Thurman of Shiloh has run 154.02. That's good early.
That's good early.
Braden Palmer, Fort Smith Southside, 424.66. I'll come back to that 1600 in a moment. Max Roth of Bryant run 9:57.76. In the 3,200, 110 hurdlers, Quadarius Jackson of Lakeside ran 14.79. 300 hurdles is Ryan Schaefer of Bryant, 39.74. The 4x100 is Jacksonville, 42.93. They seem to be coming back. Arkansas High of Texarkana's run 129.75. Marion, 4x4 guys, 327.84. Conway has run 4x8 in 8:35.07. Taylor Heinzman of Russell has jumped 6.6 in the high jump. Devontae Jones of Hope has jumped 22.3 in the long jump. Samario Hibbler of Russellville, triple jump 47.9. Noah Stack of Lake Hamilton has jumped 16 feet even. Will Newman of Bentonville has thrown 171.4 in the discus, and he's thrown the shot 61 feet even.
From where now?
Bentonville.
Bentonville. Okay.
Now, talk about indoor limit. Talking about some kids haven't run best. I told you the best 3,200 outdoors has been 9:57. Well, Alan Gallardo Lopez has run 9:03.54 indoors.
Wow.
Back at Missouri in February the 6th. In the same race, Jackson Free of Mountain Home ran 9:05.77.
That's rolling.
And there are 7 people that run under 9:50 already this year.
Well, I was going to say it's exciting. And you said high jump, and this brought back at the junior high meet at Lakeside that I officiated the other day. There's a young man that's going to high jump. It's a 9th grader. I've watched his jumps. He's going to be maybe a 6'7", 9th grade jumper this year.
Ooh.
He went over 6'3" like it was nothing.
Kind of reminds me of Antoine Hicks.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he is going to be special. I think he won the 100, maybe the 110 hurdles. I can't
Where's
remember.
he from now?
Waldron. Waldron
Waldron
had him a jumper there at one time. It went 7-1
Way
and a
back.
half.
Yes, sure it is. Was it Schaefer, I believe it was?
Something like
Yeah.
that. And I asked the young man, I said, hey, do you know what your school record is? He said, yes, sir, 7-1 and something. And he says, I'm going to get that. So I need to, if you go to Arkansas, mile split and look at Lakeside Junior High meet, you can look that young man's name up. He was impressive as an athlete. Tall young man, post player, I think, for him. Somebody showed me a slam dunk he had, so he got ups.
Yeah.
But he's going to be one to keep an eye on in the future, staying healthy and that.
Well, speaking of the AR mile split, our audience needs to become familiar with that website. If you want to keep up with what's going on in high school track and find out what the real story is, you can go to AR mile split and look for results. And you don't have to be the prime member for that. You can pay membership and get all kinds of other stories. But if you just want to see what's going on in high school track in Arkansas or around the country, actually, you can go to indoor results. Or you can go to outdoor results and see what's happening, and you can see all the rankings there. I just gave you the number ones. I didn't give you the others. But now, indoors also, y'all sitting down? Brian Burns of Bentonville has run the mile indoors in Boston in February 22nd, 4:00.38.
Wow.
So I predict, I'm going to go out on a limb and predict that we have the first sub 4-minute mile from an Arkansan in high school. And Alan Gallardo Lopez also ran 4:13.54 in Nashville on February the 13th. Brian Burns also ran the 800 at Missouri on that same meet that Gallardo and Free ran that 3,200. He ran the 800 in 150.81. Of course, he ran 149 outdoors last year. Other notable indoor, Chase Keller of Rogers jumped 6'8" in a high jump back on December the 16th. Marcus Wyham of Bentonville West jumped 6'7" and 3/4 on January the 17th. And Noah Stack jumped 16 feet and 3/4 back in November at Arkansas Vault Club. Of course, he jumped 17.3 last spring.
Well, he was impressive in the 100 meters the other day at Lakeside.
Yeah.
He won it going away. And again, he's leading the state. This early, some of those times and things is just incredible. And again, it also helps. It's not 32 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour wind blowing. It was just perfect. Like you said, if we could get that for state track meet week, we'd be happy about that. I think we're going to see some really big things this year. I think there are kids out there that are just waiting to explode.
Absolutely.
Again, we can get the right weather in that. I think we're just going to see it's going to be fun to come in here and talk. Fountain Lakes broadcasting class, we're going to be able to live talk to someone maybe in Crossett, Arkansas, like we said, or Bentonville, that we'll be able to get them on here and have conversations with them, coaches, and be able to talk about their athletes and what they're doing.
We got several coaches last season, and some we tried to connect with last year. We're going to get them, like the UCA coach, try to get the Tech coach for winning the GAC cross country, and some of those other colleges that we missed. We're going to get to those guys and see what's going on with this schools.
So, Carl, what are your expectations? What do you think you looking for? Being, I know, an old distance guy. I don't mean that old. He's a little old.
Oh yeah.
But who do you see? I know you've talked about it. What are you seeing maybe can occur this year? 2 or 3 people in the distance races, men and women.
Last year, I've said this before, if you look at another website, the Arkansas Track Coaches Association website, and go to their all-time best performances, and you see 2025 written all over. 2025 was the best track and field in Arkansas ever, especially in the distance runs. And I'm anticipating we lost some of those guys, but hey, Brian Burns and his brother and Lopez and several people are going to, you're going to see a lot of 2026s at the end of this year. So the distance runs, as I said, the biggest highlight is probably Brian Burns of Bentonville. Very likely to break 4 minutes. He's already knocked at the door indoors. So I noticed he didn't run an outdoor meet yet. I suspect they're going through a training cycle and getting him ready for a little later on.
And again, there's a young man from Bentonville in the shot and disc already throwing some big throws early like this. What can
he was a big
happen
star in junior high last year.
Right. You know, what can happen that way. Pole vault, that looking forward to seeing what the young man from Lake Hamilton, I was hoping maybe to see this year close to an 18-foot vault, hopefully. I don't want to put a curse on him, but I could see him getting some attempts at that this year at meets.
Last summer at the Dauphin Island Street Vault, he cleared 17.3, and then they put, 17.9, 17.10, I think it's 17.9. And they thought it was he hit it, it shook, stopped, and then fell. I mean, for a moment, everybody was celebrating it, and then it fell. So he was very close to that at that time. So
yeah, and it's, again, early, didn't really get to have the full indoor season where they could have jumped some more and work. Are they having the high school national meet at Boston this weekend as well? I think I've heard of some people going to Boston maybe for the nationals up there possibly.
And not for sure, but I think it's probably this weekend. It usually is about this weekend.
So that's going on. Track is rolling right now. Looking forward to, again, the meets are starting to pop up everywhere.
Well, look at all the meets having this week.
Right.
I mean, I didn't count them. There's probably 15, 20 meets around the state this week.
That's going on. Again, we get weather, we hit that spring break, and then, we're in it. April comes, boom, and we're at the state track meets, and those are going to be this year, Jonesboro, Arkansas, Van Buren, Arkansas. They're hosting the 6A and the 5A.
Jonesboro 6A, Van Buren 5A.
4A's at Clarksville, maybe?
I'm not sure.
Ashdown's
got
3A. 2A maybe is Quitman.
Mineral Springs is having A.
Okay.
I don't think Quitman's doing it this year. I could be wrong.
Yeah. But anyway, those are kind of where we're at.
Drop the ball on that one. We'll find out for you. We'll let you know next week. There's plenty of time for you to make plans to be there.
Meet of Champs will be Russellville on a Wednesday. Then the decathlon, heptathlon, the end of May. Is that going back to Fayetteville, or is that going like to Rogers or something this year?
I was thinking it was going back to
Fayetteville,
Harding, but no, I think it is Fayetteville.
But again, I should have done a little better research on this. But a lot of track coming, a lot of collegiate meets are coming. I know Harding's hosting several before the GAC there collegiately. I know OBU's hosting one this Saturday at their place. College teams coming, SAU.
We're working SAU down April 18th.
And then, the U of A will be having some. I'm going to Ole Miss the 21st of this month for their first meet.
Hendricks has already had one.
Hendricks has had one. So, we're rolling. I'm excited about this podcast, what we've got with Fountain Lakes Broadcasting, what we're going to be able to do this year and bring you students live and being able to hear them maybe talk about their workouts or what their goals are. So we look forward to doing that. I know, Carl, we're kind of at that 30 minutes. We don't like to go past
Already?
those times.
I want to let you know results from last week.
Yeah,
real
let's do
quick.
that. Oh, you don't have to go quick.
Last Tuesday, there was a meet at Van Buren. I didn't have results on that. I couldn't find the results. Prescott had a meet last Thursday. Magnolia won it with 141.5 points, and Genoa Central was second with 84.5 for the girls. For the boys, Magnolia won the boys as well, 146.5. Prescott was second with 86. Lakeside had their meet last week. Lakeside girls won with 124, and Cabot was 122. That was a close one. And the boys, Cabot won with 114, and Lakeside was second with 92. Benton, which I worked last week, Bryant won both divisions. They had 125 for the girls to El Dorado, 86.5. On the boys, 144.5 to El Dorado, 81.17. Okay.
And, you think about all that, where we've come to just in the timing. Used to we'd have 24 people at the finish line, pickers and timers, and now just the electronic way and knowing that is exactly what they're running.
And that's exactly the right place instead of hand picking and deciding who it was.
Those type things, the technology has helped track and field. Instead of going, well, I don't know, I picked third, you got him a second, and those things are gone now. And
I was a little late on the start, so your time.
But you got some great people. Y Timing up in North Arkansas. You got McDonald Timing that does that. I know Lakeside does a great job timing with theirs. I know there's some ladies out of Genoa Central.
Genoa Central do a great job. They do most of the Southwest
Heber Springs kind of was the first school to really start with high tech.
I think Heber was the first one with the Finish Links program, and I believe Genoa Central was second. So two smaller schools were the first ones.
That had that, and what that's brought, and then the addition to it, where the signage, where they have the clocks running there, that those that can afford that, like the Y Timings and McDonald's, that can afford to do that, makes it even better. They don't have, you don't have to worry about calling them. Kids can run by and see, okay, I went through that first one in 59, or I came through in 65 and I need to pick it up. Those type things have really advanced. And pole vaulting poles, the advancement that they've had since back in the day of how those have made things better and where kids can go high.
Right.
You look at college girls and that now, jumping at 15, 16 feet.
Right.
I think the first year that in the NCAA, girl from out in California, I can't remember the school, went like 12-3 and won the national championship.
Yeah.
You jump 12-3 now, you're not even getting offered a scholarship.
Right.
Far as for the D1 school.
No.
It's just crazy where track has come. And again, the numbers are there. That continues to grow. It's just exciting.
You talk about the facilities improvement, of course. We run on nice rubber tracks nowadays compared to the asphalt-based tracks, and then before that, cinder,
red
dirt,
dog as they call
red
it,
dog, and black cinder before that, and even the shoes now are contributing to their performance.
And in the NCAA, they do shoe checks now.
Okay,
they've got to be a certain type of shoe, and if they don't meet that they could be disqualified because they wore the wrong shoes. We were in a Zoom last night getting ready for Nationals this weekend. They were talking about they're going to have where it was located, what on shoes. I mean, that's how things have changed. That now they're having to check shoes to make sure they're legal, that they don't gain an advantage.
We do a little investigation on that, of what constitutes legal and what does not.
Well, we want to thank y'all for joining us and listen to you in your car. Hopefully now with us being back live like this, where you can look at our ugly mugs, we hope this will entertain you for a little bit and just kind of keep you aware. And again, we want to thank Tommy Howard of Edward Jones, Arkansas Track Coaches Association, Fountain Lake Broadcasting.
Locker Room Athletics, Steve Qualls.
So we want to thank those. And again, we look forward to a great year of track and field. And this is your podcast, Track is Our Field, and we'll see you next time.
Looking forward to it.